Long ago, before there were ever any such things as maps, there were actually many more places you could go to. The only borders that existed were the natural ones. High, snowy mountains, or vast, impassable deserts, and violent oceans that would smash your boat to pieces, and the limits of your imagination. And these days, everything has been explained and analysed, measured and explored. We know what everything is made of, how long it will last. But once, you only had to imagine a place to be sure that somewhere it actually existed. One such place was the Wishing Well. It didn't look like much. It was just an ordinary stone well in the middle of a field, with a wooden bucket hanging down from a rope. But the one who found the wishing well could lower the bucket down and pull it back up again, full of their heart's deepest desire. Would your heart's deepest desire fit inside a bucket? Well, there were childless women who came to the well, dreaming only of having a child of their own. And they'd run up to the well and lower the bucket and pull it back up with tears in their eyes to find a newborn baby inside. There were poets and philosophers, musicians who came to the well, stuck for inspiration. And they would lower the bucket and pull it back up to find new sheet music inside that would ensure their tunes would be whistled for 1,000 years. Or perhaps just the very book they needed to solve the puzzle they'd been wrestling with. But as excited as everybody was to find the well, they usually didn't see the words carved into the stone. An old curse. May all your wishes be granted. Take, for example, the rich people who came to the well, dreaming, of course, only of being even richer. They would lower down the bucket and pull it back up, full of gold coins and shiny gems and diamonds. And they would bathe themselves in their newfound wealth until it came time to go, and they realized that it was too heavy to carry away with them, and yet they couldn't bear to leave any of it behind. So it wasn't uncommon to hear a story of a skeleton spread out over a pile of treasure. Teeth marks in the gold coins. Now, when you emptied the bucket of your wish, the well would disappear to reappear somewhere else, far away. And it was said that the well could only be found by those who really believed it existed. So it was perhaps ironic that the very last person to find the well was one of those very rare individuals who wanted nothing at all. He didn't own anything more than the clothes that he wore, so he had nothing to carry. He chose his bed each night by wherever he found himself sleepy and would just lie down right there. His friends were the people he met as he walked the earth. And he chose his direction each day by which way the wind might happen to be blowing. Until one afternoon, a rather mischievous breeze ushered him into a field with a well in the middle. Feeling rather thirsty, he marched up to the well, thinking only of the cool drink of water he would soon have. He lowered the bucket down, but as he pulled it back up again, he guessed there must be a hole in the bottom because it was far too light. Instead, he found a folded piece of paper inside, and he read the message, "Are you sure?" And he realized where he must be. And he wondered what on earth he might wish for. Yes, he needed new boots, that was true. On the other hand, the holes in these ones allowed the air to pass through, so his feet didn't smell too badly. Perhaps he could do with a shave. He thought about wishing for a new razor, but then he'd rather come to like himself with a beard. Maybe he could wish for something to eat. Oh, but weren't those berries over there in season? And it struck him as quite ironic that there were people who would give their left arm to be where he stood right now, and yet he couldn't think of a single thing to wish for. Then, inspiration struck. He lowered the bucket down into the well and pulled it back up again, full of explosive dynamite. He lit the fuse and let the bucket fall, and he turned to run for his life. But he hadn't gone more than 5 steps when, boom! An enormous explosion sent him sprawling onto his face, and behind him he heard the strangest cacophony of noise. Elephants blowing their trumpets. A locomotive steam train. And an out-of-tune New Orleans jazz band. And turning around, he saw all the water from the wishing well blowing up into the air in an impossible collage of images. There were pink flamingos, tap dancing on the backs of sunburned whales. Red telephone boxes flying up into the air and arguing furiously about whether there was such a thing as a god or not. And polar bears in tuxedo suits kissing passionately, until all the water from the well rose so high up in the air it evaporated and mixed with the clouds, and a powerful wind summoned by the explosion sent the clouds to all 4 corners of the world. And so, still today, if there's ever anything that you really wish for, all you have to do is go for a walk in the rain. Stick out your tongue, and you might just catch a drop from the original wishing well. Some came looking for a baby, others for the answer to maybe. Now wishes can be had by anyone. Just stick out your tongue and pray. See, they believed in magic. They fell under the spell. Their belief was all they needed to find the well, the wishing well of their dreams. Dream of a place that must exist. The heart deserves its deepest wish. Maybe it's magic, maybe a curse. May all your wishes be heard. See, I believe in magic, happens to be true. Though I don't understand it, it could happen to you. Didn't you know?